make things better.
Okay, now the church. What type of church are we talking
Oh,
about?
we're talking, certainly it was the Southern Baptist Church.
Okay, okay, okay,
Yes, yes.
okay. Now, the other thing that's so important is the black family. Talk to me about that and the theme.
It is so strongly brought out in this book.
Hmm.
It talks about not only the family, the father who bears the burden of the struggle, not only the political and socio, but it is important that he still stands as a strong man before his family. And that the wife, Denise Lenore Boyd, that's the wife. And in fact, when the book opens, you begin to see her reflections throughout the book. She's actually reflecting on the experiences. But the supportive wife, the wife who, even in the face of a society that makes your husband look like
Right,
he's this small.
right, 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 right. I got it.
That you,
Okay, go ahead.
yes,
Talk
that
to me.
that she builds up. She's mother. She is the person who is supportive of her husband, and together they create family. The
Okay,
extended family was also important.
okay. Now, education, education, theme.
Education is primary. Both Denise and her husband are teachers. They are both teachers, educators. And in fact, his parents are educators. He is from Alabama. Denise is coming from Brownsville, Brooklyn, to
Okay.
go to school in the South.
Okay, okay. Now, community, community. What does community mean?
Community means that everyone touches and feels their neighbor's pain. Everyone knows what's going on. If their neighbor is suffering, they feel that they are suffering as well. A theme that we are losing a bit here in this time. They are concerned if their neighbor has food. They're concerned if their neighbor is experiencing any emotional traumas. The community and the church. The church is the community. The
Okay.
church is the central area there.
Okay, okay. I want to get to the main characters. What are all the characters? Tell me about the different characters.
I introduced you to Denise. Now, Denise, as I said, is from the Brownsville community, but she chose to remain in the South, even after a horrific event that changed the dynamics of her family. Her husband, Mr. Jackson, is a wonderful, powerful man, but a soft-spoken gentleman who thinks that it's important that his children understand their history and understand that if his house is blessed, that the next house also must be blessed. He's concerned, and so they meet in the church to rally to deal with the issues that affected people in the South at that time. Denise, upon her return, the two of them after college graduate, and they return to Brooklyn. And so you get a flavor for how some of the anti-poverty programs were just beginning to start. You get a sense of the groups gathering and meeting perhaps in people's homes to talk about, we've got to do something about our community.
Okay. Now, what would you say was the major message? The message.
You know, it's interesting that you should say that. I polled some people who have read the book, and I can say I have an eldest brother. The people upstate in Rome, they love the book.
Okay. Okay.
And so they said it's about a people who, even in the face of trials and tribulation, they know that they must get up and they must move. They must carry out life and be effective for their children. For them, it was about that education is the key. Education is important, and that also faith is strong. A younger person who is recently graduated from social work says that it presented a portal into the past, so that he had a glimpse of what the African American experienced, he being of Haitian background, but what the African American experienced at this time. And he felt challenged by it. And I'm hoping that he too will recognize that, you hope that young people recognize that their gifts and talents are important to move and shake society. You know, we used to talk about movers and shakers. Nothing moves and nothing shakes if we're only concerned about ourselves.
Right.
You know, the whole individual period of the 80s sort of dampened the sense of community that we had. And so it's time for young people to move beyond themselves and the kinds of collective measures that they've used that are destructive. It's their time now to make a difference in society.
Well, now this is where I have to find out something about you, Doctor. Now, you know Mama better than all of us, okay? And Mama passed from this existence, okay? And she went on to glory.
Yes, she did.
How were you able to finish this book?
Mother, I can say, even on her deathbed, was still trying to serve her community. Even the last few days of her life, people have said that she called to make sure that something that was happening in our neck of the woods, that it was monitored and watched. She was a guardian for her sister, and she never let anyone handle that for her. This was in the last stages of her life. But when she invited me in, I knew that the minute I took any part in it, that she would feel that she could be released. So I hesitated for a bit. But then I wanted to keep her here.
I know, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling
I
that.
wanted to keep her
God,
here.
I know.
But she left me in a project, more or less.
Okay, okay.
So I had to take over the guardianship and understand everything that that was about. I had to sell my aunt's home, and I had the chance of taking her loose leaf notebook and opening up this book and finding out what it was all about. She tried to get me for years to look at it, but I was always in school. She actually started it when I graduated from Hunter in a master's program, and I wanted to know, what am I going to do? You know, where am I going from here? And she challenged, and that's why the main character is named Denise Lenore Boyd. My names are Denise Lenore Claudine Boyce, two grandmothers.
Right. Wow.
So she did that, and so when I picked up the book after her death, picked up her loose leaf notebook in longhand and saw where she was flourishing, and I saw the spaces that I had to fill in. I felt like she was secretly blending our lives as she developed these characters.
But you finished it. I mean, what did you have to walk a certain journey? Were you lost?
I had to do some research. She gave me a vision.
Okay.
I mean, there were areas that she said, and like she'd write, and you get a vision, and maybe, you know, she had ideas for names. Now, we're talking 15, 20 years. So she would pick it up, and she'd start it, and then she'd stop. And so I picked it up wherever she closed off, and I filled in. I went up to Schaumburg. I had someone who did work in my house who was from Alabama. He gave me a view of what Alabama was, and I simply picked an area, Auburn, for its history. And in fact, when you read the preface, you get a sense of what Auburn looks like, etc. And that's where I began. And I wanted to close. I wanted not to enforce my own, even though civil rights, Black Power movement, etc. We were all different ages because it happened for all of us at the same time. But maybe as you're younger, you're a little more assertive and aggressive. So I tried not to insert so much of myself. But Mama fit both areas. You know.
Okay.
Mama fit both. But her concern, our phone would ring to 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, and she would talk, so that if someone needed help, she was there.
Now, I know Mama was an activist. They tell me that they're going to name a street after her, or did they already do?
They named Pickens Avenue.
Pickens
Avenue.
Oh, my goodness.
Eastern Parkway to Van Sinderen. The city, unfortunately, back in the day, Adam Clayton Powell, those streets, they changed all the names. Now they co-name, and they only gave us 2 signs. I kept one for the family, and they placed one right at Pickens and Rockaway in front of the Chase Bank there.
Wow.
Last summer.
Now, she was definitely an activist.
She was definitely an activist. If you speak with Congressman Ed Towns, he will tell you that she was part of his beginning, giving him encouragement. She and her best friend, Leona Rowe. Mommy was there to actually begin many of the activities that that the community was able to use to start employment programs, to start education programs, to start housing programs. In fact, the Buyers Club that started with Bess Myers came out of her program, her Action Center. She was a director of an Action Center.
Now, secretly, I feel your activism. Okay, now you come off very quiet, very soft, but when you read that in the very beginning, I wanted to put on my dashiki. Okay?
Yes, yes.
You're an activist, aren't you?
Yes, but it's been years since I've. Well, maybe I'm doing it in a different way.
Okay.
Maybe my calling through Christ, maybe my accepting Christ as my personal Savior has taken my activism into a different level. I was more of a revolutionary in that sense.
I'm feeling that one.
So Christ made all the difference in my life. You don't stop, but you recognize who you work for.
Okay. Now, we are running out of town,
No.
and I just want you to tell the audience, as we closing out, what do you want to leave the audience with?
If you want a powerful experience, if you want to know what took place back in the day, as the young people say, if you want to understand the premise of family, community, and extended family, and what it means to have faith in your life and to continue against all obstacles, then you should read Our Children Want to Know Why.
Okay, now, they have the information on you, okay? Yes. And I hope they're playing it up, and they will play it up, so viewers, you can get this book. It's a must-read, yes. Okay? We want to thank you so much for being on this program, because you are inspirational. You have inspired me, and I know from reading this, okay, you're going to inspire many, many more, okay?
May I just say, you can find it at Aspire Bookstore at St. Paul's in East New York, and at CCC, where Pastor Bernard is the head teacher and rabbi.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much for being on this show. And again, this was Imani's Corner. Please continue to watch us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.